Hello students, how are you? Electric equipment is there and let us say that is connected to one EMF source. Okay, some voltage is supplied to it and it is glowing, let us say, or the torch light example only we are taking that. There is a current, it is flowing through it and it makes a bulb glow, let us say. Now this is the thing what we perceive in general, but what exactly is happening inside that? That we are going to see. Okay. Now, if we'll go on zooming, the wire will be cylindrical, right? So let me show a cylinder. Okay. Let us say this is connected with a battery. Now, this side is a negative, this side is positive. So we can say this is the positive end of the conductor and this side is the negative end of the conductor. Now the thing is, this conductor, don't think that it is just a cylindrical in a shape, but this is a wire, and if a wire is taken a very small area of that, a very small section of that you are seeing, that is cylindrical in nature. So in a zoomed condition we are seeing it, in a magnified condition we are seeing it. Okay, now in that, electron is flowing, because the flow of electron in a conductor only is a current, right? That's why we are checking, we are studying the flow of one electron. Now this electron will flow in which direction? The negative side will push it and the positive side will pull it, right? So its direction will be like this. Now, is it so simple that it is coming, running, coming and reaching here? It is not that simple, because we are showing here only one electron to make you understand, but a huge number of free electrons are present, and that is why this is a conducting material. Now see, in terms of that only we are classifying as conductors and insulators. Conductors and insulators. Insulators or bad conductors. The thing is, conductors or conducting materials are those in which material the number of free electrons are huge. I need not repeat what free electron is. Free electron is that which is allowed to move about the surface of the conductor. However, it is not allowed to leave the surface altogether. It's not having that much energy to leave it altogether. However, the electron is free to move about the surface anywhere. Okay. So, if number of free electrons are more and more, it is seen that in case of a good conductor, the number of electrons, whenever it says number of electrons, means number of free electrons is 10 to the power 29 per meter cube. You remember? Imagine just 1 meter cube, 1 meter, 1 meter, 1 meter. Within that, 10 to the power 29 number of electrons are there. That means 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 29 zeros. Remember? 7 zeros is constituting 1 crore. 29 zeros are there. Means what a huge number is this. Those many electrons are present per 1 meter cube. Then that's called a good conductor. Okay. So what I mean to say is, whenever we are talking of a conductor, a huge number of electrons are present. Now whenever one electron is moving, it is natural that that will collide with another electron. And whenever there is a collision, the direction changing takes place. You imagine one carom board. Suppose this one coin, and your striker is this, and you strike it with this, like this. Let us say you stroke it in this direction. Now it is moving in this direction and it hits it in a particular direction. Then it moved in some other direction. Whenever there is a collision, there mostly the chance is there that direction will be changed. Only when the collision takes place, that is called head-on collision, then only after collision also the direction is not changed. That's called head-on collision. However, there are out of infinite chances, that is only one chance only where it will move in the same direction. However, the change in direction will occur. These electrons will hit some other electron, then again it will change its direction. Let us say it's going like this. Let us say. Now the thing is, whenever it is hitting another electron, it is changing its direction. But wherever it is going after changing its direction, ultimately it is being pulled by the positive side and pushed by the negative side. So slowly it will go towards the positive only, and ultimately this will reach the positive side only. Yes or no? Now, how much total time it is taking to travel a particular distance in average is called the drift speed. Let us say the length is equal to L, let us say. And the time taken by the electron to move from this end to this end is a time t. Time is equal to t, let us say. Then, what is the speed, average speed of this? It travel distance by time is speed, simple you know. That time, the time of drifting is called drift speed. Drift. Is green visible? It's called drift speed, which is equal to L by T. Fine. Now, the thing is whether it can move in the backward direction. Answer is yes. But after a collision, it may move a little. But after that, again, ultimately it is pushed by the negative side and pulled by the positive side only. So, ultimately it will come. It may change direction this side, many hundred times it may change the direction. But ultimately, its direction will be towards the positive side only. And same is the case with all the electrons are present inside this. Fine. Now, this drift speed we are going to calculate. And because of this motion only electricity is constituted in a current. The electricity is constituted in a conductor due to the drift speed of a charges in it, and in this case the drift speed of an electron in it. Okay. And when the drift speed is calculated mathematically, it was seen that the drift speed is very slow in fact. The drift speed of the electron, let us give its a symbol Vd, it is shown generally. Vd is of the order of 10 to the power minus 4 meter per second. Now see, 10 to the power minus 4 meter per second means what? 1 by 4 zeros meter per second. 1 by 100 meter means 1 centimeter. 1/100th of a centimeter per second. So isn't it very slow? But what is our experience? You switched on one light and immediately that light glows, right? Let us say you are in a big hall and all the switches of all the lights are at one place. So we just switched on the light, that means, and the bulb glows. That means you came to the conclusion that electricity is too fast. Within no time, almost within no time it flows. But when it is calculated, actually, this appears to be too small. This arises a question that how drift speed is slow, but the current is fast. For that again, see, it is the good way of understanding that for everything what is intangible, this also you cannot see, right? You have to imagine only. I have to draw on a paper and I have to show you only. But actually, where is the electron? What is happening inside the wire? It is visible or what? We cannot see it. That's why you compare that with something like this. Let us say there is one cylinder, right? Cylindrical shape is there. Inside that there are balls. Inside that there are balls. Imagine. Now you are pushing it with certain force. Let us say 1 Newton, something like that. You pushed it. The moment you pushed it, this hits this hits this, and that hits the next ball, and immediately the moment you pushed, a ball falls from here, right? So the moment you push it, a ball falls from that side. So it is immediately fast. However, you see that when you push this ball, let us say this is ball 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this 6, 7. These balls fell down. However, the ball 1 is pushed and that has not moved from one end to another end. When you will calculate, only you will focus your attention at ball 1 only, and you will see how much time it is taking. That much time if you will calculate the total time, the length of the tube divided by that time if you do, that will come the speed of actual speed of ball 1, or we can say that the drift speed of a ball 1 is a very small, but whenever the motion is occurring, that only we are calling electric current, that only we are calling current. So current is very fast, however the ball moving, the speed of the ball is slow. You got it, right? Same thing happens in case of electron also. One electron hits another electron hits another electron. The moment one electron starts moving, the current flow also begins. However, if we are focusing on one electron only, the time taken by the electron to move from one side to other may be a good amount of time, and the length of the conductor divided by time when we do, the drift speed is coming only 10 to the minus 4 meter per second only, which is the drift speed. However, the speed of electric current what we experience is very too fast as compared to that. Clear to everybody? Now we are going to derive the drift speed. Okay. See, again we are analyzing only one particle only, and the same thing is applicable to how many number of free electrons are present inside the conducting material. So that's applicable, but our focus we are deriving for one electron only now. Okay. See what happened before. This was, or let us say there is a switch which is disconnected, or we can say before there was one electric field applied across this. I said electric field applied across this. What is it? It is electric potential, right? The thing is, what is the relationship between potential and a field? Let us say L is the length of the conductor ring. Then if V, the electric potential, is applied across this, electric field is what? E L is equal to V, yes or no? Or E is equal to V by L, yes or no? You remember minus dV by dr, potential gradient only is electric field, that we have learnt already. Fine. So to remind you something, whatever I am saying, if you are writing that in your note, you write rough there. That's not actually mentioned here, but from my mouth it came electric field, that's why I explained. Even if we say electric field, that's right only. Electric field is nothing but the potential gradient only, V by L. If V is the potential difference and L is the change in length from one end to another, the gap, that is V by L is E, as simple as that. However, what I was going to say is, when the potential difference is applied across the ends of the conductor, then only the motion of electric charge occurred. But when it was not given, was the electron at a rest? It was not at absolute rest, because it was in a room temperature will be there. Because of the room temperature, it was vibrating there. So it was having some speed, some velocity already. But because of that velocity, it was not moving, it was not changing its position. Before this electric field was applied, it was vibrating about a particular point only, that mean position. That position was not changing with respect to time, it was remaining then and there only, right? So whenever one electron is there, it is having one initial velocity all the time. You remember last year we had studied final velocity V is equal to U plus AT. In equations of a kinematic we had studied V is equal to U plus AT. Then what type of motion this could be the mathematical representation. V is the, if a body is moving from one point to another, it started with U, when it is reaching it's a V, and if with a constant acceleration it is moving, and from to move from here to here, time t is taken, let us say. In that case, we could say V is equal to U plus AT. Now, can't we apply that here also? See, before applying the electric field, it was vibrating. That means it was having some initial velocity already. But once it is applied, it started moving with some acceleration and in some time t. Now, what happened? When it moved, till what it moves? It moves in a particular direction till it hits another electron, and then it changes its direction, and that it goes till with the same direction with the constant acceleration till it meets another electron, right? So between any two successive collisions, what motion is happening, that is same as this kind of motion, yes or no? It is starting with some velocity, it ends with some velocity. Why it ends? When it hits, suddenly its final velocity becomes from v to 0 it becomes. Then again it starts. When again it starts, it's having one u again, because even though it comes to 0, there is one room temperature still is there. Because of that, that will start vibrating again. That vibrating is the initial velocity. But when this is closed, because of this, this positive side will be attracting and the negative side will be repelling the electron. And because of this thing, it will feel one drift towards this direction, right? So because of this, it will move, and whenever there is a force, there is one acceleration. What force is here? F is equal to eq. If there is one electric field, one potential is applied, one electric field is generated, E electric field, and E multiplied by the charge is F. Here charge is small e only, so EE with EE force, that is always pushed in this direction, or pulled in this pulled by the positive side or pushed from this side with EE force. So with, if this is a force and electron is having some mass, what's the mass of an electron? 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg, remember. So if there is some mass, then what will be the acceleration with which it will move? Force by mass, F is equal to ma, Newton's second law. So force EE by m, right? With this much acceleration, it will move in this direction, right? With some acceleration, the electron will move, right? If we'll express it vectorially, how we can write? A is equal to minus EE by m. Why minus? Actually it is EQ, right? Q is equal to minus E. In case of one electron we are taking. Actually, if a Q we are writing, it is QE by m for any charge. But for this particular case, it's minus E. So EE is equal to A acceleration is equal to minus EE by m. Let us make some drama. Let us make it equation 1. Before the first collision, how much time is consumed? Let us say that is T1. From here to here, how much time is consumed? Let us say that is T2. From here to next collision, time is T3. From that collision to next collision, let us say T4, and so on. Okay. Now, for first, when it is moving with U1 speed and reaches V1 speed, final speed is V1, which after the collision that becomes 0 for some time, but it reached from U1 to V1 it reached. What we can write that? V1, let me write it here. V1 is equal to U1 plus A T1. Yes or no? Let us say from here to here, time T1 is taken. So V1 plus UT1. Similarly, V2 for the next time, U2 plus A T2. Similarly, go on. Let us say Vn. Any n number of seconds happen. N. Un plus A Tn. Is it clear? Add everything together. Why A only I am writing everywhere? See, A is equal to E is not changing, mass of the electron is not changing, and electric field, whatever is applied across this, if a 9 volt is given, in between you are not fluctuating this thing, that also is remaining constant. So acceleration also is a constant. So A is everywhere common, but U1 is changing, T1 is changing. If you add up everything, what it happens? V1 plus V2 plus till Vn is equal to this side U1 plus U2 plus till Un. See, U1 plus AT1 plus U2 plus AT2 plus U3 plus AT3 and so on. So all U1 parts I separated, U1 till An plus A multiplied by A. If we take AT1 plus AT2 plus AT3 and so on, A take common, T1 plus T2 plus till Tn. Clear? So this idea you already have in your mind, right? That's why, or you have taken on your paper, I guess. That's why I am erasing this part just to make some space. From here I am writing, so V1 plus V2 plus Vn whole divided by n if I do, this is what LHS by n I did. The entire RHS by n also I have to write. U1 plus U2 plus till UN by n plus A times T1 plus T2 plus till Tn by n. Till this it's clear or not? Now, what is drift velocity or what is drift speed? Now see, velocity speed, I will prepare it to make it a speed only. However, in terms of vector, if you write, it's called drift velocity. V, you will write U. This also is a vector quantity. This also is a vector quantity. Here also you will write like this. This also is a vector quantity. 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 Accordingly, if you write, implies that this is V D, the average of all the velocities, with which the electron is moving is called the drift velocity. Fine, with all these things. So Vd is equal to, see, this is the initial speed which is the result of the room temperature only. At room temperature, what happens in any material? If this vibrates like this, this vibrates like this, this vibrates like this, in random directions these vibrations will be there, right? We cannot predict any particular direction. Only when this is given one electric field, then these vibrations are aligned. However, before that, it is in random directions. So if there is U1 in this direction, there must be any other any other thing which will be opposite to this. I am not saying U1 and U2 will be opposite only, but for one U1 there will be some opposite speed will be there. So all these velocities, random velocities due to room temperature amounts to 0. The vector sum of all the together are 0 divided by n. That means one is this side, one is this side, one is this side, one is this side, one is this side. Everything if you add up, it comes to be 0. So U1, U12, that unlimited number whatever it is, that much altogether is 0 by n plus A multiplied by this average of all the times between two successive collisions. This is what average of all the time intervals between successive collisions is called relaxation time, and the symbol is tau. It's called relaxation time, that is the average time interval between two successive collisions. Average time difference between two successive collisions implies that what we can say, Vd is equal to, this is 0, it becomes 0, A tau, right? See, now this tau last year we had taken for torque, right? So that's okay, this is just a symbol. Therefore torque is a different concept than relaxation time, but for torque we had taken this symbol. Here this tau symbol is taken for relaxation time. Okay, so Vd is equal to A tau, we got this, right? But A is equal to something we have derived already, E by m. Therefore finally what we got, Vd is equal to minus E tau. Here what we are writing in a vector form, so E tau is a time which is calculated by m. So this is what we finally derived, or this is also written as, see, this is a drift velocity or drift speed is equal to how much? We need not consider in a scalar form this is sign, right? Simply E tau by m. This is called drift speed. This is called drift velocity. This is called drift speed. It's the magnitude part of this. Is it clear? So by drift speed, what we got? The relationship between the charge, the electric field in which the charge is moving, relaxation time and mass of the charge. So the combined relation of the charge, electric field in which the charge is moving, relaxation time and the mass of the charge we got, and drift speed. So drift speed is equal to E tau by m. In this, what is what you have understood very nicely, everybody, right? Now, relating to this, we are going to discuss few points which are coming as a questions in board exams. In board question, frequently we get the mobility. What is mobility? This is simple. Now we have understood the drift speed and the derivation of this, which can be a long question, right? And from related to the derivation of the drift speed of an electron in a conductor, there are some other concepts coming to this. Relationship between current and drift speed, current and mobility, current and relaxation time, and mobility. What is mobility? First we'll look one point by one point. Mobility is nothing but, see, what is drift speed? We know drift speed per unit electric field is called mobility, and the symbol of mobility is mu. See, whenever there is a conductor, if only when the conductor is connected across some V, EMF source is applied, or one electric, it is under one electric field, then only the current is being possible. There all this drift speed comes into picture. For electron, mu is equal to Vd by E. Vd is equal to any charge Q, or for electron we are taking, so E only, E tau by m was Vd divided by E. E got cancelled, therefore E tau by m. However, for electron, let us say mobility for electron is mu E. I am writing mu E is equal to E, and relaxation time for electron divided by mass of electron. Clear? Similarly, for hole. Now see, for hole, I am writing the symbol is mu h, but what is hole? That you don't know, right? It is just the deficiency of one electron is called hole. Deficiency of an electron is called a hole. It is something like that, light and darkness. Light is there. Is there anything called darkness? Only if the absence of light only is given one a name called darkness, right? So hole, if an electron is moving in towards east, it is same as a hole is moving towards west. These two are same only. Electron and a hole, they make one pair, one neutral pair. Electron is negatively charged, hole is positively charged, absence of that. So, and the symbol is electron is like this and a hole is shown like this, okay? So for hole, as of now this much is enough. Electron hole pair in a semiconductor chapter we will be studying in detail in this year only. So the mobility of a hole is equal to the mathematical expression of a relaxation time. What is relaxation time? Everything we have understood, but it also can be written as relaxation time is equal to mean free path divided by drift speed. Now the word mean free path means the path between two successive collisions are different, right? You remember that idea again. Here one between two successive collisions, whatever is the path. In the second and the third collision, whatever is the path. This path is changing, right? So mean of all the relaxation time, mean of all the paths between two successive collisions, all those mean is called a mean free path divided by the drift speed is a relaxation time. In other words, you can say drift speed is equal to mean free path by relaxation time. You can say this way also, and mu is equal to Vd by E. This is mobility. Then the relationship between current and drift speed. Now let us say we have a conductor of length L and area of cross section A. Let us see, this area of cross section is A. and in this there are free electrons, the motion of which we are observing, and we got the drift speed of that, right? Now how many electrons are present in this, that will depend on material to material. The number density of electron will vary. The number density of electron is number of electrons per unit volume. The number of electron present per unit volume of the material is called the number density of electron of that material. Per unit volume of the material, how many electrons are present? That number of free electrons, better to write, number of free electrons per unit volume of a conductor is called the number density of that conductor. Let us say number density of the conductor we are discussing is N. N is the number density. Okay. What is the total number of electron? What is the total number of electrons? That is equal to number density multiplied by the total volume, right? So, what is the total volume of this conductor? Isn't it AL? A is the area of cross section multiplied by L is the total volume of the conductor multiplied by number density is the total number of electrons. Yes. Therefore, total charge in the conductor is how much? Let us say that is a capital Q is equal to, see, ALN is the total number of free electrons and charge on one free electron is E. So it is ALNE is the charge, isn't it? Therefore, what is current? Therefore, electric current, let us say that is I, total electric current, I is equal to what? Charge by time, yes or no? And charge we got as ALNE divided by time. Yes or not? Now, what is L by T? The length divided by the time taken. Don't you think this L by T only is the drift speed? We have said already, right? This L by T is equal to drift speed. From here, what we conclude? Therefore, I is equal to NEA VD, right? For L by T, we just replaced as a VD, which is the drift speed. So this is the relationship between current and drift speed. This is over. Current and drift speed, right? Now, what is the relationship between current and mobility? This also comes as a question sometimes. Now, what is mobility? That we understood. Mobility is simply VD by, I have erased this thing. What is mobility? Mu is equal to VD by E, right? So VD is equal to, drift speed is equal to mu multiplied by E. Now if we are going to find out the relationship between current and mobility, what we will do? Current and drift speed we got already, and drift speed is equal to mu into E. Just now we brought. So what we can conclude from here? I am erasing this thing, okay? Implies that I is equal to, see, NEA VD. NEA VD. Drift speed is equal to mu into E. For VD I am writing mu E. And this is the relationship between current and mobility. So this also is done, current and mobility. Now the third part is, what is the relationship between current and relaxation time? What is relaxation time? Vt is equal to E tau by m, you know. So write that thing. I is equal to NEA. For Vd, what we can write? E tau by m, right? Now E was there, E came. So isn't it E square? So this is equal to how much? N E square tau by M. Now see, A is here, E is equal to V by L, where you remember, let us say I am in short, I am doing this, let us say this is the conductor and we gave one V, we applied a V, some potential difference given, and L is the length. Then what is the electric field established in the conductor? E is equal to V by L. So for E is equal to V by L. At the beginning of the class I said you, right, EL is equal to V, or E is equal to V by L. Now E is equal to V by L. I replaced it here. We can say N E square A tau by M, or I is equal to N E square A tau V by ML. We can use this also, that also, depending on the question numerical, what is given. If V is given, we will put this formula. So if E is given, we will use this. If A is given, we will use this. But in both these relations, tau is present. So this is basically the relationship between current and a relaxation time, right? Current and a relaxation time. So these relations are coming as different questions many times during board exams. So you have understood that with the derivation of drift speed, these three things also we know already, right? Just it's playing around this thing to bring out some relations. One is relationship between current and drift speed, current and mobility, current and relaxation time. And what is mobility, if we have understood, we can proceed from there, right? So drift speed was the main concept. What's the drift speed, how to derive drift speed, and actually drift speed is related to resistance, how we will see in the next class, but the core concept of this class was a drift speed only. Hope this class remained of a help to everybody. Thank you all.